What secrets does Ironbark State Park hold? Why do people go missing there? Is this thing on? And I'm here to teach you the lessons and fear of Ironbark State Park. This is Jack Nelson. He's 24 and a park ranger being relocated to a fire lookout tower in Ironbark State Park. While not his true name, Ironbark State Park happens to be one of the largest state parks in the Pacific Northwest. The true name of the park is unknown, where Jack claims the horrors he witnessed there are so unfathomable that he fears anyone going to the park themselves. We begin Jack's story in his RV. One of his greatest financial achievements, with his parents' help I might add, was buying this RV. If that's not the biggest metaphor of my financial life I've ever heard. Jack drives all day and eventually resolves to get food. He stops at a diner and takes a moment to admire his RV. It's quite a cozy accommodation. A nice bedroom, a little bathroom, nice seating and eating section. Upon entering the diner, Jack takes a moment to use the restroom, order some food, and then moves on to converse with other patrons in the establishment. Most are friendly, but one odd fellow brought a shovel, a cloak, and a canvas bag inside with him and refuses to talk. Jack tries to say hello, but he just stares, nothing behind those blank eyes. Jack eats his dinner and prepares to finish the journey to Ironbark State Park in one more leg of a trip. Before leaving, a patron who decided to eat outside warns Jack that people have gone missing in Ironbark State Park and to be very careful. When he gets back outside to his RV, he notices the door is open. He could have sworn he closed the door. He settles his things in and decides to use the bathroom one more time before hitting the road, but the bathroom door is jammed for some reason. At this point, Jack is way behind schedule and doesn't have time to try to fix the bathroom door, so he decides to hold it in and makes the journey. After a bit of driving, Jack finally arrives. It's much later and darker than preferred, but it is what it is. He gathers his things, heads to the main office. He opens the door and are met abruptly by a ranger with a shotgun. The ranger is extremely on edge and seems to think Jack is someone else, one of them, whoever that could be. Jack manages to calm him down and informs him that he is the new staffer for the vacant fire tower. The ranger, who we now know as Billy, calms down a bit and relaxes. While talking with Billy, Jack notices a figure walking through the woods. This isn't particularly interesting on its own, but walking around in the woods in the dark is strange. Jack shrugs it off, and Billy gives Jack the keys, a flashlight, and leaves him with a warning. Do not go further north of your tower than half a mile or so, he says. Dangerous stuff out there. Just bobcats and bears, of course. But stay away from the area, continued Billy. Jack is confused because bobcats and bears don't tend to just stay in one isolated section of a forest. Wouldn't they be everywhere? Billy was a bit eccentric, so Jack shrugs him off again and makes the 3-hour journey hike in the middle of the night to his new home. I don't know how Jack walks around with such huge balls. Jack Nelson arrives at Tower 11 and finds it devoid of life, with the exception of the smell of fresh forest timber. In Ironbark Park, the towers aren't powered by electricity and are instead powered by gas through generators. Jack gets his generator going and settles in. He's not there long before the radio crackles to life. The lookout of Tower 12, Connor Hawkins, introduces himself.
I'm Connor, Fire Tower 12. I saw your light turn on.
Although Jack can't see him, he can see the lights from his tower over the tree line. Connor gives Jack the basic rundown. You're expected to not only watch for fires, but assist hikers, reprimand offenders and rule breakers of the park, and submit daily weather reports, instructed Connor.
You got a fire going? Get her lit. The temperature is about to plummet. You don't want to sit through the storm shivering,
continued Connor. Taking the warning, proceeds to get firewood from a utility shack. He pours gasoline over the wood in order to light the fire. Wait, do people in this realm regularly pour gasoline on wood to make a fire? Wouldn't just the dry wood and timber be enough? Whatever. Jack does his first report for the night, and he sneakily put that he helps 100 hikers and submits. Someone's getting a raise for sure. Soon, after succumbing to sleep, he's awakened to incoherent words and static on the radio. Jack groggily crawls out of bed and calls out to whoever could be out there, but his call receives nothing from the void. Now that he's awake, he needs to take a piss. However, Jack was too scared to go down to the portable bathroom downstairs, so he just goes off the side of the tower instead. While doing so, he notices a figure in the distance. It clicks on a flashlight to look around and briefly points it up at the tower. In a spasm, Jack accidentally flings his own flashlight off the side of the tower. He hastily goes inside to grab binoculars that he caught a glimpse of earlier, just to catch a peek of the figure. As soon as he locks sights, the figure scurries away. Jack swears to himself that he has seen that person somewhere before, but where had he seen them? The next evening, Jack finds himself a bit more at home. He enjoys the feel and taste of hot chocolate. He adores the view and the cold breeze from his tower. For the first time in a while, Jack Nelson feels like he's at ease. He glances at his colleague in the distance. He can only see the tower and the lights emitting from it, but knowing that someone to talk to is available is quite comforting. This mellow experience is interrupted by a call from Connor.
Tower 11, do you copy? Nobody bothers to get a camping permit these days anymore. Do you have eyes on the smoke north of your position?
Connor spotted campfire smoke in the distance in an area that is not a registered campsite. Connor informs Jack that it's in his region and he'll need to go shoo them away.
Stay safe out there.
Jack starts to head that direction, but warnings from Billy start to replay in his memories. Don't go north of the tower. Nasty business up there. Jack, now dual wielding his flashlight and bear spray, resigns to his required duty to investigate. Ignoring Billy's warnings, he pushes north up Lacey Trail. Jack guessed he walked about 2 miles from here. On the way, he notices a warning sign that says no camping that's been marked up with graffiti. Someone claiming to love Jen and that she gives the best head. What does that mean? Does she collect heads and give them away? As Jack gets closer, he hears a masculine scream in the woods ahead. Ah! His heart races, sweat beads on his forehead. He readies his bear spray for whatever may be around the corner. Jack enters the vicinity where the campers were hanging out and his phone immediately explodes with incoming messages. He really has been disconnected from society in the fire tower. Jack looks around the camp. They brought a lot of stuff. Among the campers' belongings were weapons, food, and a variety of ghost hunting tools such as an EMF reader and a spirit box. The campers, however, are nowhere to be found. Maybe they saw Jack coming and hid to avoid getting a monetary fine. But why did someone scream? As Jack gets ready to douse the burning fire, he hears a whistling from the edge of the woods. He goes a little closer, but is warded away by an emergency closure sign, warning that the trail has been obstructed. Before he turns away, his vision captures a momentary shadow moving, someone wearing a cloak, with strange shapes protruding from the head. Perhaps he's seeing things. He calls out and receives nothing in reply. The fire is put out and Jack makes his return to the tower. On the way back, he's plagued by the oddness of everything he just saw, shivering from a cold realization that maybe everything was, in fact, not okay. Before going to bed, Jack converses with Connor. Connor doesn't think anything is a big deal.
That scream must have been one of those red foxes. They sound pretty much like a screaming lady at night.
Connor confirms something Jack heard is the diner, the twisted tale of 3 people going hiking in that area who veered off the trail for just a moment and vanished, never to be seen again. Unfortunately, rumors of paranormal activity being the cause led to ghost hunters and thrill seekers to swarm the area to catch a glimpse or evidence of whatever may have been behind it. Connor lets it slip that he wished the rumors were true.
Sometimes I only wish they were true.
But what did he mean by that? Did he mean that the truth could be worse? So that the idea of something more sinister wasn't likely. Jack eats dinner, lights his fire, closes up his window boards, and fades away to sleep for the night. By the way, if you've made it this far and you're enjoying the content, hit the like button for me. And subscribe if you're into that. This piece lasts for a brief few hours as he's awoken by the creaking of pressure and weight on wood. It sounds like someone just ascended his tower, but who would be near the tower at this time of night? He glances over at the wall where the moonlight tattles, revealing a shape in front of the window with a familiar head shape. Isn't this what he saw at the campsite? Jack slowly approaches to see what could be by the window, but the figure moves before he notices. In a fright, fueled by adrenaline, he quietly slips under his bed. More footstep sounds, rustling, then moments later, creaky footsteps descending the stairs. Jack waits for what feels like eternity under the bed. Eventually, he summons the courage inside himself to go a peek outside. He wasn't sure to make of what he found. A goat skull with candles and a star painted on the front of the skull with some sort of red substance. He didn't know what to make of it. Was it a warning? I don't know about in this round, but in mine, that drawing a star on a goat skull would do literally nothing. Doing what his judgment deemed best, he informed a groggy and annoyed Connor what he had found. Connor just shrugged him off. It's just a prank. go to bed. The next night, Jack wakes up and feels a little better, only a little. He's full of paranoia and wears it as a suit of armor. From here on, he vows to be vigilant and safe. He cleans his binoculars. How did they get so dirty in 2 nights? Didn't he literally just use them 2 nights ago? To enjoy some animal watching and notices a flare in the distance. Jack is filled with anxiety over the possible fire hazards of a flare firing up in the dry forest. Before Jack can react,
Hello? Is anyone there? I need
his radio roars to life, and a voice he's never heard before is on the other side. The unknown person, in distress, begs for help. They wander too far, and now it's nighttime. They can't find their way back. Jack uses a map and works with the hiker to find the appropriate trail and send them to safety. But then the hiker says he sees Jack whistling behind a tree. That's not me, says Jack. I'm in my tower, he explains. The hiker is freaked out, but the conversation is cut short by an aggressive knock at the door. Jack, overfilled with anxiety, paranoia, and fear, is locked in place, freezing him in place. He eventually gathers the strength and bravery to move, edging closer to the door until slowly he reaches for the handle and opens the door. It's only the ranger from the main office. He's just bringing some supplies. As Jack turns away to put the supplies away, Billy's voice ominously speaks. What were you doing there last night? He asks. A chill goes down Jack's spine. Billy offers, there's enough for you here at the tower to stay busy. You don't need to be venturing around. Jack keeps his confusion to himself. He's required to deal with fire hazards, regardless of where they may be. When Jack tells Billy about the skull, he shrugs it off as nonsense, just as Connor did. Jack goes about his normal ritual. He gathers firewood, only to be cornered by a strange man. He quickly becomes friendly, introducing himself as Silas. Something is familiar about him though. Jack has definitely seen this man before, but where? Silas explains, I do routine work on the radio towers out here to keep communications open. Even at this time of night, someone has to do it. The encounter is normal enough, but Silas did have a strange way of speaking. He almost comes across as one of those doomsday speakers, saying stuff like sometimes fires should burn. Later that night, during the usual check-in with Connor, he reveals the radio tower has been out of commission for a while.
Ran into who? That radio tower's been out of service for ages now. It was closed down years ago after a lightning strike fried its systems. And its repair cost was deemed too costly.
He's never heard of Silas. Connor encourages Jack to take his photo and get his ID.
Take a photo. We need to figure this out.
Seems like a strange request, right? Excuse me, sir, you look suspicious. I'm gonna take your photograph. Hold still. A few nights later, the power in Jack's tower fails. He checks the generator to find it has run out of gas. Didn't I just refill this? He thought to himself. The gas ran out way faster than usual this time. After he refills it, he restores the power and heads off to sleep.
Jack, I need you to wake. You copy?
Jack groggily rolls out of bed to answer. Connor spots a group close to the lake from Tower 11.
Another camper. It appears to be in your sector. You see the campsite from your end?
Jack sleepily grabs his binocular and looks out across the lake to see the strangest thing he has seen since arriving in Ironbark State Park. He didn't know what to make of it. A group of robed and hooded individuals with the same protrusions. They had a human-shaped mass on a pyre, burning one of the largest fires he's ever seen. Everyone has been so insistent on evidence, so Connor grabbed his camera to take a photo of them. He zoomed in, made sure everything was in the frame, and snapped. Jack had forgotten to turn the flash off. It immediately catches their attention. They scatter faster than roaches, but not to hide. One of them immediately runs for Tower 11. Jack panics, runs into the tower, and immediately hides under the bed. Moments later, the robed figure kicks the door open. Jack holds his breath. He tries to stifle every sound his body makes, muscles cramping as he tries his best to remain still. He resolves to sit completely still, not moving a muscle, his body screaming in cramps. He dare not move, or else the motion could cause the wood of the tower to creak ever so slightly. After what feels like a lifetime, the hooded figure leaves, mumbling to himself. Jack lets in a deep breath, desperate for oxygen. He slowly comes out of the tower, only to be found by the mystery pursuer. After hiding for a little bit again, Jack runs, and Jack runs for miles. He runs and runs, not even sure if his chaser's still behind him. In the pitch black darkness of Ironbark State Park, he can't see anything but the trail a few feet in front of him. Through the dark, he reaches the main road, where the main office was. As soon as he comes to the light, he realizes he is still being chased. Fueled by his heart pumping adrenaline, he outruns the hooded person to the RV. Without any time left to thought, he starts the RV It lurches into motion as Jack drives off and floors the accelerator. He stops at a Ranger HQ and phones it in. No one believes him. Mitch gaslights him. We all get a little crazy out here in this solitude. He leaves Ironbark State Park behind, never to see it again. But what about Silas? Why was he at the diner? We can conclude that Silas snuck a ride to Ironbark State Park through Jack's RV. But why? Was he planning to walk or hitchhike otherwise? Do even cultists have a desire for greasy diner food? Did Billy know about this cult in the forest? Did Connor know? Did Mitch know? How deep did it go? Are the cultists in control of the park and keep everyone there in line? My name is Nox. Thanks for letting me share this lesson in fear with you.